Dear Mr. X, it's me, Lindsay. I grew up in a small trailer park just outside of a small town in West Virginia. I lived with my two older sisters who are 4 and 5 years older than me. Also, my mother and her boyfriend at the time, Chris. While we were new to that area, Chris had grown up there and knew several people. Side note, he was the town drug dealer. Anyway, soon after moving into this trailer park, my family began being stalked by a subject we eventually came to refer to as the creeper. One night while watching TV in the back bedroom of our trailer, I suddenly got this chill running down my spine. I started to feel anxious, as if I was being watched. I tried to look out the window, but I had trouble seeing as the light in the room was so bright. All I could see was my own reflection. With the feeling still nagging at me, I got closer to the window. Almost as if materializing out of the darkness itself, I saw eyes and a face slowly coming into focus. Of course, I totally spazzed out. Luckily, nothing came of it that night. Throughout the span of 6 years, this strange man, at least we think it was the same guy, accosted us every chance he got. I've seen his dirty hands slide windows open from the outside. I've seen him grab for objects that happened to be within reach of the windows and drag them out. I lost a nice duffel bag that way once. He even slammed his hand against the bathroom window one time, slowly dragging it down as I got out of the shower. It was just one blood-curdling scream away from a scene out of a horror movie. The creeper would steal forks and silverware from the drawer, panties from my sister's dressers. Sometimes we would come home from an outing and find piles of rocks stacked neatly on our beds. He would quietly break in, rummage around, and leave every light on and every door open. We eventually began leaving notes saying, "Dear Mr. Creeper, please shut off the lights and close the doors when you leave. P.S. We're running out of forks." One night we came home to find our bird Corey dead in his cage, hung by his wings. After a while, we narrowed the suspects in the small trailer park to one man, a guy named Ron. He was actually friends with Chris, my mom's boyfriend at the time, who was also friends with Ron's brother, Jake. Chris and Jake would occasionally plan these stakeouts to catch the creeper. I'm sure you can see the conflict of interest there. The scariest part of all this happened one night when I was 12. I was at a neighbor's house while my mom was at work. Chris had moved out by this point, and my sisters were staying with their own friends. I decided to go home and grab some necessities so I could stay the night at my neighbor's house. When I got home, I noticed the front door was open, and the lights were on. I walked into the house expecting to find my sisters. I guess I was assuming a lot given the creeper's tendencies. When I entered the trailer, I called out, "Hello? Is anyone home?" I walked down the hallway toward the bathroom. As I did, a man wearing all black and a ski mask came creeping out of the back room. And I mean literally creeping, back hunched over and everything. He seemed to notice me right away. When he saw me, he stood straight up and walked closer to me. He stopped next to the back door, only about 5 feet away from me, and looked me up and down. He appeared hesitant, like he expected me to scream or something. Instead, I decided to just become one with the room. I had no fight or flight. For some reason, my brain chose to neither move a muscle nor make a single inkling of a sound. Eventually, he just ran out the back door. As soon as he was outside, I called for help. About 2 years later, with similar peeping activities ongoing throughout, I was sitting with a friend in the road next to Ron, the creeper's trailer. He lived with his father at the time. It was dark out, around 9:30 p.m. While we were talking, Ron just walked up to us. For some reason, he'd asked us if we had been sitting there long, and how long we planned on staying. We told him we weren't sure, and pretty much thought nothing of it. Ron then walked away from his trailer and towards another area of the park. Soon after Ron wandered off, we saw a masked man dressed in black approach Ron's trailer. We watched in disbelief as the man slid open the back window and climbed in. Upon witnessing this, we ran over to a neighbor's house and called 911. We then went back and sat down to wait for the police to show up. A bunch of officers arrived several minutes later. A few of them went around to check the back window where the man had entered, and 2 others went to the front door. Ron answered the officers' call out and spoke to them at the back window. When questioned, Ron stated that he heard someone setting off fireworks, and he wanted to check it out. Of course, this was a lie. There were no fireworks. We were there. When he was asked why he would enter through the window, he replied that that's just how he felt like getting in. When his father was questioned, we heard him say that he and Ron were the only ones home. The whole thing about Ron being the creeper never really seemed to sink in before that night. I guess we finally saw the proof needed to end the suspicions once and for all. For years after that, I was an anxious mess. I would stay awake at night listening for strange noises. Even after moving several times, I would leave the stove light on and my bedroom door open. I kept a vigilant eye, always looking for shadows on the walls. It took a long time for me to overcome what I came to know as the PTSD from dealing with that situation. But since I believe I have become a stronger individual. So, that was my creeper story. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on it. I hope you're well in these crazy times. Sincerely, Lindsay. Hello there, my friends. Now, I had a few things to say about this story. I've been in a brightly lit room late at night with the expanse of darkness outside. I've looked out into the void, half expecting to see a face staring back at me. Now imagine straining to see past your own reflection and actually seeing an unfamiliar face inches away from your own. This story infuriates me because I can't stand the thought of a person feeling entitled to invade the personal space of others, uninvited and with clearly nefarious intentions. I was also annoyed that even though Ron was seen climbing in through his own window, demonstrating a technique that he probably perfected, breaking into the homes of others, there was really nothing that the police could do. There's no law that says you can't crawl into your own window if you feel like it. I guess it's just one of those things you have to kind of grit your teeth and keep it moving. I'm sure people should have the right to do that, but it's almost like a tease that this guy who is strongly suspected of being a creeper and going around and stealing young women's panties and staring down 12-year-old girls in the middle of their hallway after breaking in, it just drives me up the wall. The fact that the children in the story, Lindsay and her friends, became so accustomed to it, to the fact that they lived shoulder to shoulder with a man suspected of all these disturbing things, it just makes it even worse in my mind. I don't think that we as a community should allow such a thing to become trivial, where, hey, there's a guy, he's the creeper, that's what he does, especially when the safety of our children is involved. I can only imagine what that level of complacency could have possibly allowed the creeper to do. I mean, all it would take is one bad day for him to go a step further and try to do something horrible. Now, you all know I usually like to include some kind of positive message or something when it comes to stories, gritty, real stories like these. So I asked Lindsay, she mentioned PTSD, and I could imagine you might not realize it when you're young. I mean, a lot of people don't notice that type of thing, and they don't pick up on certain things when they're young, and then later on in life, it strikes you like, man, I was really putting myself in a bad position, or I really wasn't looking out for myself the way I should have. And I could see that becoming a source of post-traumatic stress. And Lindsay mentioned having that, dealing with that. And I asked her what she did to overcome that, the fear of, or the stress from living in a place where a strange man was liable to crawl into your window at any given evening, where you can lay down in your bed every night knowing that you're probably not the only one enjoying the comfort of your sheets. I'm thankful that she's not dealing with that anymore, but I wanted to know what her journey out of that fear and out of that PTSD was. What she told me was that she kind of learned over time not to fear the unknown as much. A lot of things seem to have happened in her life, like she became a single mom. She even went on to enter the world of law enforcement. A lot of facing fears of many different types. When you're a parent, when you're in law enforcement, there's all kinds of fears coming in and out of your mind at all times. So rising to those challenges, I'm sure, is a big part of it. What Lindsay told me was that she started using her past experiences as building blocks to refine and develop her own character. She learned to focus her energy into protecting others, and that played a big role in her personal journey of recovery. But she also wanted me to make sure I note, and I completely concur, that if you are dealing with some type of PTSD from whatever the case may be, don't let it sit and fester. Make sure you talk to people. Open up about it in a way that will be productive for you. Whether it's friends and family or professional help, it's something that you should seek out. Because I don't think any decent person deserves to have to live with something that causes them that level of stress. It only takes time away from your life. And I think you deserve better than that. So let's all thank Lindsay for sharing this disturbing picture of humanity. And I honestly hope that Ron is either not doing what he used to do, or he's not doing anything at all, if you get my drift, right now. And I'm glad the story, at least for Lindsay, ended in a positive way. I mean, she didn't get really physically hurt by this creeper person. And I'm thankful for that personally, because she is, after all, one of the dreamers. She's been around quite a while, actually. Anyway, my friends, thank you so much for hanging out, listening. Make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on those notifications so you know when I upload, the few and far between uploads that I do have going on here. And yeah, let me know if you enjoyed the story down below with a comment. And if you listened all the way to the end of this video, type in the word creeper into your comment down below so I can see you. I hope you're all doing well in this still crazy time, and I hope I was able to bring a little bit of relaxation and or entertainment into your day. And hey, just remember to be good to each other, take care of the ones you love, and let them know you love them while you have the chance. Because, like I always say, not a moment is promised to any one of us. You all take care, my friends. I'm Mr. X, and may your nights be full of dreams.